This is Rich, Hot, and Free. In the last 2 months, I have met some badass, expander, alpha men, tripled my client roster, had people join offers I haven't even launched yet, and I had more fun in my offline life than I have had in years. And I did almost none of it by trying harder. And that's what we're jamming on today. So welcome back to Rich, Hot, and Free. I'm Jill Stanton, and it has been a hot minute since we last chatted, and I have a lot to share with you guys and catch you up on. So grab your coffee or a matcha or a stiff glass of something and get comfy, because we're about to have a big catch up, all right? So first things first, where the heck have I been? The honest answer is I have been living my best freaking life, friends. Like genuinely, unapologetically, just living in this like little electric abundance portal that I've cracked open for myself. And for the first time in like, I don't even know, like I can't even remember how long, I have prioritized that experience over forcing myself to just be consistent or be productive or focus on ticking off all the boxes on my to-dos. And it has been so fucking fun. And I think what I love about it the most is that the old version of me would have forced myself to sit down and work and push through and been productive, and I would have shown up in an energy of obligation. Like the old me would have recorded episodes because that's what I'm supposed to do, because consistency matters, because you can't just disappear for 6 weeks and like expect people to stick around. But here's the thing, the new version of me, like that version of me wasn't wrong. But also, she was operating from a completely different identity than the one that I've been living inside lately. Because here's what I've come to know for sure for myself, is the version of you who has everything you say you want doesn't just abandon herself to meet other people's expectations of her, okay? She doesn't force things that don't feel alive to her. She doesn't show up in a watered down, going through the motions kind of way just to check a box, just to meet a publishing schedule. Hell no. Instead, at least for me, she moves when it's alive. She creates when it feels electric. She shows up when she genuinely has something to say. And for the last 2 months, I have genuinely had so much happening in my offline life that I just chose that. I chose the experiences. I chose the aliveness. I chose the portal that I was in. And this is cool, my business still grew. Like, of course. And that's one of the first points that I want to make right at the top of all of this, at the top of this episode. Sometimes the most powerful identity move that you can make is to stop doing the thing that you think you're supposed to be doing and start doing the thing that actually feels fucking alive to you, because that is how you draw in everything that you keep saying that you want. And I promise you right now, people will feel that energy from you and they will be magnetized towards it. So here's how I've been really playing with this energy lately. And to fully explain it all, I need to take you back to February. We are going so deep in this, I'm just going to riff. I'm going to take you back specifically to February 22nd, because that's the day that I feel like everything genuinely shifted for me. And I want to give you the full context because I think it matters. So in the final few weeks of the snake year, so like that's what, late January, early February, I was in what I can only really describe as like shedding the final few layers of sad bear energy that I had been swimming in for basically like, I don't know, man, like all of 2025. Like I was processing some heavy stuff, like all around, just lingering feelings around low self-worth, low self-esteem, and that whole like, will I ever find what I'm looking for energy. And I was just really focused on releasing that am I too much loop that I think a lot of women who are big and visible and unapologetically themselves get caught up in sometimes. At least I know I did. And I think it was partly due to the fact that I had a pretty strong streak of people in my life telling me that I wouldn't find what I wanted. And that masculine alpha men don't want women like me, and that I'd never find that kind of partner that I was looking for, and that I was too intimidating and, I don't know, too independent and too assertive and whatever other bullshit they were projecting onto me, right? I'm sure you've had some sort of experience like that. And I'm not going to lie, like some part of me really had been letting a lot of that land for me. Like not consciously, of course, but somewhere underneath everything that I had been carrying, that belief that they were right and that I was too much, quote unquote, too much, had taken root for me and it was affecting me. So when my best friend Jade, who has now moved here, came to visit in that last week of the horse year, or sorry, the snake year, we spent the whole week just like processing a lot of stuff in our lives and just feeling it and not bypassing it, not rushing through it, not trying to like gaslight ourselves out of the discomfort. We just sat in it and acknowledged it and processed it and shared it and eventually, thank God, released it. And then on February 22nd, something shifted for us. Both of us on that day woke up that morning just feeling different. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, except we just felt lighter. Like something had just, I don't know, shifted overnight. And we just woke up in a different frequency than we had been in for the previous 2 weeks. And so we decided to go out that night. And that night was just like, one of those nights. It was magic. Like we were dancing on the beach and singing at the top of our lungs and just like fully and completely in our own energy and like not trying to be anything other than exactly what we were in that moment, which was just free and alive and just fully ourselves. And that night I met and talked to a man for the first time since living my marriage in 2025. And I know that might not sound like a big deal to anyone else, but for me, it was huge because for about like literally 5 months straight, I basically spent like all my time alone, sitting in silence and processing my feelings and like releasing the fears and the doubts and the limits that I had bought into. And I was starting to get clear on like who I wanted to be in this next chapter of my life and what I was available for and what I was no longer available for anymore. And it just all felt like a lot for me. And so that night, before we even went out, I decided to start trying on a belief that I'd been playing with. And this is going to sound wild, but let me just tangent for a second, actually, because I have to explain what I mean by trying on a belief, because I think it's actually really different from what most people mean when they talk about like affirmations or belief work. Okay. So when people say affirmations, what I think they're saying is they're essentially repeating something, hoping that eventually their brain will believe it. And to me, that feels like you're trying to convince yourself of something from the outside in. Okay. Whereas trying on a belief, quote unquote, trying on a belief is different, at least to me. It's more like going into a dressing room with something that intrigues you and putting it on and seeing how it fits and asking yourself like, does this feel like me? Does this match who I want to be? Is this the version of myself that I'm moving towards? Like, does it fit me? Okay. And so for me, the belief that I was trying on that night, which I am now so obsessed with, is I am magnetic to fascinating men. And guys, let me tell you, this belief has been rocking my fucking world ever since I started playing with it. And I think the best part about it, at least for me, is that I don't need anyone else to believe that for it to be true for me. It just resonates with me. And that resonance is like gasoline on the energetic fire. And so that night, I met this dude from Spain who's a heavy metal singer and a top BJJ competitor. He owns a music licensing company. He has a real estate portfolio, and he just moves with this like intoxicating, quiet, grounded alpha energy. And let me be clear, this is not like some performative alpha energy. That's not what I'm talking about, nor is it what I'm remotely interested in, okay? So I'm talking about the kind of alpha energy from a man who just knows he is one. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not trying to prove he's an alpha. He just is one. And because of that, he just moves in this like genuinely grounded, anchored in who he is kind of way. And let me tell you, that energy is fucking intoxicating to be around. So he was the first dude I've even talked to in the 6 months of being single. And he was such a fucking expander for me because suddenly I could see that the things I had been told about masculine men and masculine men not wanting women like me were just fucking wrong. They were just completely categorically untrue, because here was this fascinating dude who was completely captivated and not intimidated or turned off by a woman who had vision, who had depth, who wasn't trying to like manage his perception of her. I was just like fully myself. And one of the best moments of that night, I would just have to share this. One of the best moments was he said, "I'm not flirting with you because you're hot. I'm flirting with you because you're so fucking interesting." Guys, like, what the fuck? Who says that? "I'm not flirting with you because you're hot. I'm flirting with you because you're so fucking interesting." I just like giggled like a loser at that point, and I just soaked it all in. And since that night, I've been like finding my feet again, back in the dating scene. And I've been noticing some of the things that people say to do when you're dating. And I'm obviously being like served a ton of content around dating and relationships and all of that kind of stuff. And one thing I've noticed is this like, and this can apply to business as well, because I honestly think they're quite the same energy, just expressed in different areas, truthfully. So I know I'm jumping all over the place, but stick with me. So something that I've noticed is that most of the content around dating or how to attract men or how to keep their interest or how to be desirable or whatever it is, like most of it is designed to help you control someone else's perception of you. Okay? And I get it. Like, I understand why this content works for people, because people don't want to feel rejected, right? They don't want to feel raw. They don't want to feel like they were vulnerable or like they were abandoned or misunderstood or not wanted or rejected because they came on too strong or they showed too much interest too quickly or whatever it is, right? And so they think that they have to play this game where they, wait a certain amount of hours before texting back so that they don't seem too available. Or they think that they have to play things a certain way and create like mystery by withholding their presence or their feelings or whatever the fuck it is. And I get it. I can see how that might feel like quote unquote power to some people. But here's what I've come to see about all of it. All of that is manipulative. And I know that sounds strong, but it's true. It's like subtle, socially acceptable, well-intentioned manipulation. But it's manipulation nonetheless, because you're not being who you actually are in that circumstance. Instead, you're trying to contort how you come across, and you're trying to manage someone else's experience of you instead of just being your fucking self and letting them respond to that. And in this next chapter of my life, I'm just not available for the games and the manipulation and the bullshit. I was saying this to a few of my girlfriends. Like, I'm not trying to be something that I'm not in the hopes that like some dude will like that version of me, because it's not even the real version of me. Like, I am not a nonchalant person. I am very chalant. I am a cards on the table kind of chick, and I don't want to pretend that I'm something that I'm not so that hopefully some fucking guy likes me enough to respond to my text message. Like, no, absolutely fucking not. Like, okay, for example, I'm just gonna like, if I'm on my phone and a guy texts me and I want to text him back, like, I'm just gonna text him back. Not because I'm desperate or because I don't have standards, but because I value authenticity. And that's how I would normally respond to anyone else in my life who is texting me. Like, if I'm available, I'm texting back. And because this idea of like waiting 3 hours so that no one thinks I'm too into them, like, that to me just feels so fake. And I just refuse to be fake in this era of my life. Like, I just won't do it. It feels so forced to me, and I'm fucking unavailable for it. And also, while I'm on a roll, I'm not afraid of processing feelings. So if I'm fully myself and some dude doesn't like that or isn't into that, then bro, that's okay. Like, I trust myself to navigate whatever feelings come up and use that as a signal for the different areas or needs or desires that I get to cultivate for myself. Okay? And then another thing that I've anchored into in this area of my life is that I no longer operate with this energy of like, oh, is he gonna like me? And instead, I have started asking myself, do I like him? Like, does he match my standards? Do I choose him? It's the difference between wanting to be chosen and operating from an energy of discernment and standards and being selective in who you want to roll with. And to me, those two energies feel so different. And for me, it helps me get more clarity around what I'm looking for in a man and what feels like a yes for me and what just doesn't meet the standard for me. So, back to the men I'm meeting. I know I'm jumping all over the place. Just stick with me. So, the Spanish dude was such an expander for me, and he also helped me clarify what I am available for and what feels like a hard no for me in this season. So, that experience was deeply valuable to me, and super fucking exciting and super fucking hot. Okay, so then fast forward a few weeks later, and I meet this guy who I can really only describe as like a real life Jason Bourne. Like he's ex-special forces, ex-army ranger, speaks multiple languages, like sheer protector energy, personable, has the gift of the gab. He's just this like fascinating dude. And we're talking, and at some point we get onto this topic of frequency, which sounds so random, but because I'm in this energy and this vibe, I looked at him and I said, well, I operate under a belief that I'm magnetic to fascinating men, and I think you're fascinating. And bro, the way this dude's jaw dropped a little, like it was so fun to witness. And I wasn't saying it to like run game on him. I was just saying it because it's true. And I've come to realize that most people never say true things like that out loud. Because again, most people try to manage other people's perceptions and strategize and protect themselves and try to control perceptions to ensure that they don't, I don't know, seem too keen or too eager or whatever. As I just said, like the look on his face was fucking priceless. So then fast forward 2 days from then, and he took me to a gun range and taught me how to shoot a gun, which was just such a fun experience. And I'm basically an assassin now. And it was so fun, guys. So here's what I've been taking in from all of this. The women who are the most magnetic in their love lives and the women who are the most magnetic in their business lives have the same thing in common, okay? They're not acting desperate and trying to get people to choose them, right? Instead, they are operating from such a clear sense of their own standards and their own value that they're the ones doing the choosing. And that energy is irresistible to people because they're not operating in pick-me energy. Okay? They aren't out there performing some version of themselves that they think will make people like them or they think will make them want to buy from them. No. They're just fully themselves and they're completely clear on what they bring to the table and why you should work with them. I mean, think about the most magnetic entrepreneurs that you know. Get one in your head. Are they trying to appeal to everyone? Like, do you think they're really softening their message so no one gets upset? Do you see them playing it safe so that they don't lose followers? Fuck no. I imagine they're fully themselves. I imagine that they are bold and audacious and probably even polarizing. Like they aren't trying to get you to like them. They're just out there being all of themselves. And that's exactly why people can't stop watching them or buying from them, right? Because the frequency that makes you magnetic in dating is the exact same frequency that makes you magnetic in business. They're not two separate things, okay? They are the same energy. It's the same willingness to be fully yourself, regardless of who likes it or who doesn't like it. So this is the frequency that I've been operating in. And obviously, it's having a fun effect on my life, on my personal life. But it's also ushering in this like whole electric era in my business as well, which I love for me. So my client roster has tripled. I've had people join offers that I haven't even officially launched yet. I've had clients renewing. I've had money flowing in both expected and completely unexpected ways. Like it's just felt so alive. And here's the thing. I haven't even been working harder. If anything, I've been working less in the traditional sense. I've barely posted a podcast episode. I've barely sent a newsletter. I've been posting less. I've been pushing and grinding less. But what I have been doing is a lot of the work, or I've been working with the law of assumption. Okay. And the law of assumption is essentially whatever you assume to be true about your reality shapes everything. Okay. It shapes your actions, your energy, your frequency. It shapes what you magnetize into your orbit. And all of it flows from what you assume to be true about what is possible for you. Okay. So if you assume that getting clients is hard, or that money is inconsistent, or that you have to work constantly to maintain what you have, then you're going to show up in a completely different frequency or a completely different energy than if you assume that clients are flowing in and that money is easy and abundant and always flows to you, and that your business is growing even when you're not grinding for it or pushing for it or forcing it. Okay? So the assumption is what shapes the frequency, and the frequency is then what creates the results. So I've really been playing with this quite a bit in a really fun way in my business, and actively treating the universe like, this is going to sound so weird, actively treating the universe like I'm in a relationship with it. Okay? And I know we all have a baseline understanding of like co-creation and all of that, but I think that stays pretty surface for a lot of people. Whereas what I've been doing recently is approaching my connection with the universe as though it's like someone that I'm in love with and obsessed with. And I want you to start playing with that, or at least consider how this could play out in your life. Okay? Like, if you were to do this in your everyday life, if you were to think that you were in a relationship with the universe, what would you say to it? What kind of inner dialogue would you have with the universe? Think about that. Would you say to the love of your life that they're not giving you enough? That you don't trust them to come through for you? Would you say to the person that you love the most that you're anxious about whether they really have your back or not? Whether they really love you enough? I doubt it. In fact, I imagine you'd be grateful for them. I imagine you'd trust them, you'd surrender to them, you'd probably delight in everything that they bring into your world. I imagine you would assume that they want the best for you because that's just who they are. That's why you're in love with them. That is the energy that we get to bring into our relationship with the universe, okay? It's not an energy of like white knuckling shit and trying to make it happen. Instead, it's an energy of trusting that you've got you, and you're appreciative of how much they love on you, and you're open to receiving all the love that they can show you and want to give to you. Okay? So it's an energy of receptivity versus trying to control and force and make it all happen. And when you operate from the assumption that money is coming in and that the right clients are finding you and that opportunities are always available to you, I'm telling you right now, you stop looking for evidence that it's not working, and you start noticing all the evidence that shows you it is working. And that shift in what you're noticing changes your frequency, okay? And that change in frequency changes your results. So that's what I've been playing with over the last, not just 2 months, but over the last 6-ish months, and really watching my outer reality change and bend and morph so drastically in such a short amount of time it's just been such a thrill for me. I'm like so hooked on it. And I'm just so hooked on it. I'm so obsessed with it. And also, now that I'm on this roll, I've also been documenting all the things that I've been doing. So like the shadow work prompts that I did, I documented the visualizations, these like identity upgrades I've been doing, these assumptions, the frequency work I've been doing, and I've channeled it all into a new bundle called Reality Bender. And right now you can get it for $22. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but the link is in the show notes, or you can go to jillstanton.com/Reality Bender and snatch it up there. But I want to tell you a little bit about it because I am fucking obsessed with it. And it just feels like one of the most aligned things that I've created in so long. And it's so different to anything else that I've created. And I've essentially taken, like I was saying, the exact tools, audios, activations, rituals, frameworks that I've been using personally to create this season of my life that I'm currently in. The reality where my client roster is tripled and people are just like joining offers that I haven't even launched yet. Where money is just like flowing in ways that feel almost magical, but are also actually just like the complete logical result of operating in this specific frequency. And so I'm telling you, if you open up to this frequency work, like if you really stay open to it, you will be blown away by what shifts for you and what flows into your life once you unlock this frequency. Okay. So there is a slew of different assets, from shadow work prompts to 30-day sequences to a frequency assessment to cheat codes and everything in between. I'm so pumped about it. I won't break it all down here because it's a lot to go into, but just again, go to jillstanton.com/realitybender. It's all listed on that page. And I just know it's going to rock your freaking world if you're open to this kind of work. Okay. That's enough out of me. That's my update. I've been so like itching to tell you guys, but this is like, I don't know. This is just the little electric portal that I've been in. And I'm so excited for you guys to listen to all the episodes that I've been coming up with, because I've just been channeling all this like aliveness, this electricity, this like abundance portal that I'm in. And I've been channeling that into my new content, into podcast episodes, into Reality Bender. So I've got a lot coming. I'm so thrilled about it. I know I've bopped all over the place, but hopefully this was like a fun little update. I had a blast living it. And it's just continuing. And so there's also, well, I'll save this for another update, but just something else that's come into my life recently that I am so excited about. So I'll leave it there. I feel like I've rambled enough on like my personal life and everything that's going on there. I hope I don't regret shooting this, but I just appreciate you guys so much for being here and for continuing to tune in. So thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.